Well, good morning. And welcome to the Unitarian Church of Evanston. Barbara says I once said to the Unitarian Church of Evidence, but that's all right. Okay. I'm Bob Mesle, and whether this is your spiritual home or you are newly discovering this community, it is good to share our time with you and with all of you back here. We strive to be an inclusive and welcoming community, seeking truth in love and nurturing the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us is worthy of love, and that we are all connected to the vast and beautiful web of existence. We come together to remember our kinship with one another and to hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention, whether here or online. If you are joining us online, there are many connections in the description below the YouTube live stream, including the order of service credits, ways to support our mission, and how to join our email list. If you are in the sanctuary, yes, Reverend Allison is, okay, we encourage you to use the QR code for the digital order of service or to take one of the large print orders of service. Both are located right outside the door here, along with hymnals, which are available right outside the door. We also have an inductive loop system for anyone wearing a hearing aid that is equipped with a T-coil. Your hearing aid should automatically connect if you enable the T-coil system. For those of you who do not have a T-coil system, you can find earbuds right outside the door that you can listen through. It'll connect. Okay? Today is a multi-generational service. Anytime you are welcome to get up and come down here to the nest to play or just wiggle. Though we do not have today children's faith formation classes, we usually do, our nursery is open for 0 to 3-year-olds. Many of you have noticed or heard about this broken window that was out here in the parking lot by the front doors. It's now fixed. The window was broken overnight on February 20th, and we do not think it was a hate crime or related to that February 25th day of hate. Just one of those things which happen. We have Get Out the Vote postcards for the upcoming Wisconsin Supreme Court election. Please see Carolyn Laughlin in the back after church to get your bundle of postcards. Then you fill them out and we mail them. Check the newsletter for 3 interfaith events coming up between March 17th and the 22nd. We hope everyone is able to attend at least one of those events. First, there will be a 2-day-only performance of a play about the doctrine of discovery titled We Own This Now, co-sponsored by UCE, Reba Place Church, and Garrett Theological Seminary on March 17th and 22nd. That's right. We have March 17th and 18th. 17th and 18th. Somebody, right. Okay, second, Beth Emmet Synagogue is hosting, I love this, a 20-year anniversary celebration of the soup kitchen that we regularly assist with, and that will be on March 19. And there will be a presentation by Equity and Transformation Chicago titled The Big Payback Campaign. This is separate from the Big Payback film, and it will focus on the issue of reparations for individuals affected by the war on drugs. And this event will be here at UCE. This is what's on March 22nd. And now, Good time for a deep breath or two. Let us settle into our shared time of reflection, celebration, and inspiration. As we begin a worship service, those joining us online are invited to gather your chalices as we join in beloved community. Welcome to worship. All those who did not set their clocks forward are regretting it now and for a long time. Wonderful, wonderful, Vickie, Gregory Choir, thank you. The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on land that was recorded as being transferred from the local Potawatomi community to the U.S. government in 1829, before the Potawatomi were forcefully removed west of the Mississippi River. This land was then sold to white settlers. We also remember the hands and bodies of the black people who built up our country's culture and economy, a role forced on them originally by enslavement. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifice since 1619. Acknowledging the tremors of violence throughout the generations and the resulting impact that can still be witnessed today. Those acknowledgments are one small effort toward building long-term solidarity with contemporary communities. We commit ourselves to take what we learn here today and incorporate it in our lives and turn our thoughts into actions. To learn more about our congregation's land and labor acknowledgments, please visit our website. Look on the screen here. We name these realities with honor for all the ancestors respect for our descendants, and gratitude for the land we make sacred space.
Cheryl Mounts and Carla Williams brought beautiful daffodils this morning in loving memory of their parents, Cecil and Marjorie Mounts, and Roger and Jean Williams. As they light the chalice, please join in saying the words on the screen. For these times, may this flame light a way forward. Held in community, may we risk connection, compassionate truth-telling, and playful joy together. And please rise in body or spirit as we say the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And before we sing our opening hymn, yes, it's time to turn briefly to one another to say good morning. And if you're participating from home, greet one another in the chat. And for those in the sanctuary, greet someone next to you. Oh. I invite you all to stay after worship and chat and continue your conversations with the folks you don't know very well. Let's keep building our kinship with among us and join in singing our hymn, 338, I Seek the Spirit of a Child. And we will sing all three verses.
We
There we go, that's better. Oh, good morning, all.
Morning.
Sweet. Today's Time for All Ages is from a storybook called Malala's Magic Pencil by Malala Yousafzai. Do you believe in magic? A few. When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show about a boy who had a magic pencil. If he was hungry, he drew a bowl of curry, and it, poof, appeared. If he and his friends were in danger, he drew a police officer. The boy was a little hero, always protecting people who needed help. How I wanted a magic pencil too. If I had a magic pencil, I would use it to put a lock on my door so my brothers couldn't bother me. To stop time so I could sleep an extra hour every morning like today. To erase the smell of the trash dump near our house. And I would use it to make other people happy. I would draw the most beautiful dresses in the world for my mother, the best buildings in the valley for my father, so he could open many schools where children would study for free. A proper ball, so my brothers and I no longer had to play with an old sock stuffed with rubbish. Every night before I went to bed, I wished for a magic pencil of my own. And every morning, I would wake up and check my cupboard. But the magic pencil was never there. One day I was throwing away potato peels and eggshells at the dump. I was wrinkling my nose, swatting away flies, and making sure I didn't step on anything dirty in my nice shoes, when I saw a girl about my age sorting trash into piles. Nearby, boys were fishing for metal scraps using magnets on strings. Wishing wasn't enough. Oops. Did I? Yeah. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what did I? My printer didn't print out properly.
I got you.
Oh, I could turn around and just look at the screen. Thanks. Yeah. When my father returned home from work, yeah, that makes more sense, I told him what I'd seen. It made him sad. Abba, I said. Yes, Johnny, he said back. I always liked it when he called me dear one. Why haven't I seen that girl in my class? Because, he said, but he didn't finish his sentence right away. Because, Johnny, in our country, not everyone sends their daughters to school, and some children must work to support their family. Those boys will sell the metal scraps they find. If they went to school, their families would go hungry. School was my favorite place, but I had never considered myself lucky to be able to go. My father had always said, Malala will live free as a bird. Now I wondered how free I'd truly be. That night I thought about families who didn't have enough food, and the girl who couldn't go to school, and even about how when I was older, I would be expected to cook and clean for my brothers, because where I come from, many girls weren't allowed to become what they dreamed of. I knew then that if I had a magic pencil, I would use it to draw a better world, a peaceful world. First, I would erase war, poverty, and hunger. Then I would draw girls and boys together as equals. Over the next few years, instead of wishing for a magic pencil every night, I worked hard in school every day. I wanted to be one of the top students in my class. But soon, powerful and dangerous men declared that girls were forbidden
from attending school. They walked the streets of our city now. They carried weapons. That would be scary. One by one, girls stopped coming to school. But where are all the students? They don't feel safe anymore. How could a few men stop all the girls in our valley from going to school? If more people knew what was happening to us, I thought, they might help. Wishing wasn't enough. Someone needed to speak out. Why not me? I wrote about what it felt to be like, to be scared to walk to school and how some of my friends had moved away because of the threat they faced in our city. I wrote about how much I loved school and how proud I was of my uniform. Once I started writing, I didn't stop. I wrote speeches and traveled around my country sharing my story. I even talked to a reporter from a famous international newspaper. People actually wanted to learn about my life. I spoke for all the girls in my valley who couldn't speak for themselves. My voice became so powerful that the dangerous men tried to silence me, but they failed. And now my voice is louder than ever, louder because people have joined me, and together we make a chorus, standing up for what we believe. We raise our voices for those in need. We help people in danger, even if they are an ocean away. We think of the world as a family. Do I still believe in magic? I do. I wrote alone in my room, but people all over the world were reading my story. Millions now know it and help me spread my message of hope. I had at last found the magic I was looking for in my words and in my work. I am Malala. I've always wished I could make the world a more peaceful place. And every day I work to make my wish come true. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. And after her story, Malala also says, when we are young, we feel powerless. Once I wished for Sanju's magic pencil. Now I know that when you find your voice, every pencil can be magic. The end.
I invite us to settle into a time of reflection as we share the joys and sorrows as part of a practice of beloved community. On Sundays, when you come in, if you're joining us live in the sanctuary, if you have a joy or sorrow you'd like spoken aloud, you can write it in the Joys and Sorrows book that's usually at the back of the sanctuary, or you can also submit it online through a Google form found on the homepage of our Unitarian Church of Evanston website, or you can email one of the ministers. We listen to these offerings with tenderness and respect. And so as much as you can quiet your body just for this moment of breathing in together and breathing out. That felt really good. Can we try that again? The joys and sorrows that have been shared before our service is one from Janelle Britton, and she writes this. I wanted to share with my UCE family that my sister Darlene Breen peacefully passed away March 3rd with family surrounding her. She was well known as a second mom to hundreds of people, including myself. This sacred space for our tender offerings is a part of the practice of beloved community. Together we expand our celebrations and we lessen the burden of grief. You are invited to come forward and light a candle for the joys and the sorrows that are on your heart. And if you would like a candle brought to you, you can simply raise your hand. For these joys we give our thanks. For these sorrows we give our love. And this is really perfect timing for our time for prayer, because before we enter into the spirit of prayer or meditation, I want to invite some of you to try something new, only if you want to, but you could experiment with coming up to the front or being in the sides and the aisles and rising. If you wish, and if that's available to you. And when I read the words of the prayer, you can actually just make gestures that embody those words however you interpret them. And you can do this while you're still seated too, or you can just do it in your imagination or drawing with your magic pencil. So for instance, my friend Tamara, who wrote this prayer, she wrote that there's one part where we can breathe deeply. What might we do when we breathe deeply? So act out or embody whatever you wish. There's no right or wrong way to experience this. And if none of you wish to play in this way and feel best if you're still, that's okay too. So please prepare your body and make it ready for what it needs and where it needs to be. Holy One who has given us the breath of life, today we remember to breathe deeply, to rest, to take in, to pause before we act, and then to take in another deep breath. Poised on the edge, and risk jumping in, risk taking action, risk speaking up, hey! Risk using the gifts we've been given. So at the end of our life, we can say with absolute clarity that no part of our existence was wasted in fear or failure of fear or success. Hold us. Prepare us the way to begin to offer the gift of our awakened presence, full of love and light today. Blessed be. Amen.
As we say in our covenant each Sunday, service is our law. UCE is called by our mission, values, and principles to contribute to our community, to form accountable partnerships, and to express gratitude through giving. I'm grateful for the choir this morning. Today's offering will be shared with the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, known as UUSC, whose mission is to advance human rights and social justice around the world by partnering with those who are affected by unjust power structures and mobilizing to challenge oppressive policies. You may text to give, mail in a check, or give from our website. If you write a check, please indicate in the memo line in your check if it's for shared offering or for some other giving. Cash is also welcome, by the way. The ushers will now come forward to pass the collection bowls down the rows. Give as generously as you are able, and may what you give bring you joy. Thank you all for your generosity. A reading, A Blessing for Risk Takers and Failures by Robin Tanner. Today we share in a blessing for losers, risk takers, all failures far and wide. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip the pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who make great mistakes, whose intentions were good, but impact has injured, who know the hot sense of regret and ask for mercy, for their heart shall know the gift of forgiveness. Blessed are they who have seen a D or an F or a C or any letter less than perfect, who are painfully familiar with the red pen and labels as less than, for they know the wisdom of imperfection. Blessed are they who try again, who dust off, wash up, who extend the wish for peace, who return to sites for failures, who are dogged in their pursuit. For they will discover the secret to dreams. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts are houses of hope. Blessed are they who see beyond the surface of another, for their hearts will be open to compassion. Blessed are they who stop running the race to help a fellow traveler, to pick up the fallen, who stop for injured life, for they shall know the kindness of strangers. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice.
Yes. Hallelujah, the storm is passing over. Oh, those stormy days. It can be so hard to get through. And yet some days we just wish that there wouldn't be another one, but you know there's going to be more storms. And these are trying times. And yet we are held here in community. We hold one another and we can keep faith for one another when one person is hurting, when all feels lost. That we can find a way forward. And yet trying times require us to try. To try and keep trying. Now I know so many of you are so involved in this community, doing so many good things, not just here in this space in the Unitarian Church of Evanston, but all around. And you are trying and you keep trying. And may that music infuse you with the hope and energy you need to just keep doing the right thing. And oh, if only we had a magic pencil, right? But you know, that magic pencil Malala told us about, that we do have the power of our word, our creativity, and she took the risk of trying, of raising her voice in a very, very dangerous, scary environment. And yet she raised her voice, but it wasn't just her, you see. She was held by a community, by her family, and held by a larger love that believes that we should keep trying. And part of that is being willing to be curious, to play. Now, some of you probably didn't come here to play today, but I'm going to invite you into the spirit of wonder and curiosity. You are playing, for real, yeah. And for all of you who need a little extra intellectual encouragement, I invite you someday, if you haven't already read it, to check out Play, How It Shapes the Brain, Opens the Imagination, and Invigorates the Soul. It's a classic by Stuart Brown, and he writes this: "The genius of play is that in playing we create imaginative new cognitive combinations. And in creating these novel combinations, we find what works. Play is a profound biological process. It has evolved over eons in many species to promote survival. It shapes the brain and makes animals smarter and more adaptable. It fosters empathy and makes possible complex social groups. For us, play lies at the core of creativity and innovation." So let's use those neofrontal cortexes, y'all, and imagine engaging our executive functioning, but imagining what is not yet, while also taking in and keeping it real about what is. And so there may be something that brought you here today, something that's on your mind or heart, something that you're trying to figure out, and maybe it's something that focuses on what trying times these are in the world or in your life. And so we are going to have a playtime in which you are invited to come up front. You could come up front to the stations up here where we're going to have baskets filled with costumes and whimsy. Could you pick up some of the costumes and show them? Yep, put one on. Yep. And there's also some areas to the side for sensory play, including sand and digging and sifting. Maybe you need to sift and sort through some things in your life. Or perhaps you need to work on safely some agility with stepping stones on the sides, or modeling clay that we're going to bring out for the nest where you could stay seated up in a chair or down below. Or perhaps you would prefer to draw or write at the station that is next to Adam in the back. Or perhaps you want to sit still and take breaths and be with your own inner life. And for those who wish, when we begin the music meditation, if you raise your hand because you'd like to sit in one spot but still play, we have kits that we can bring to you, that Bob will bring to you. And last but never least is there's going to be a beautiful collaboration with our good people online. If you wish, we will have an opportunity to drop a link that we'll have in the chat. And when you click on that link, you'll have an opportunity to answer the question about how or what makes you feel playful. And we will have a special treat from our online folks who are going to be present with us by creating a word cloud that will be coming in live that will offer us something very special. So feel free to stay where you are and take in the music if that's what's right for you. And otherwise, we will begin our time of play, calling into mind or heart something that you are needing to figure out for yourself in these trying times. I've got a mouse somewhere. Beloveds, as we wrap up our time here together in this play session, please remember that the spirit of this time can continue, that we might commit to play on. Can you feel the presence of all of us together, trying, doing new things? Imagine playing together in trying times, open to new outcomes and experiences. And perhaps our call to play, we could look at what people have written and invite some of these experiences in your life. The experience of prayer, garden dirt, kids, wondering, swimming, friends, daydreaming, skipping, spring rain, laughing, sparkles, trying times, baseball, babies, singing, toys, pizza, music, dancing, hot chocolate, sunshine, searching, going to the park, children, spring snow flurries like those right outside the window, jokes, dogs, toys, grandchildren, smiles, writing, pranks, dog zoomies, family time, water, sequins, games, church, laughter, finding, and toddlers. And probably so much more. So let's keep playing, and please, for the love of all that is holy and sacred and good in our lives, and so much needed in this world, let's keep trying. Blessed be. Amen. As Cheryl and Carla extinguish our chalice, please join in saying the words on the screen by the Reverend Elizabeth Selly-Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise, embody your spirit, and join in singing our closing hymn. We are doing verses 1, 2, 4, 5, projected on the screen. I know I can go on.
Let's go.
go forth, taking with you the spirit of experimentation, effort, and playfulness, and persistence. Go in peace. Blessed be. I know some of you still want to keep your costumes, but return them to the front when you're ready.